So Ubisoft just recently announced Rainbow Six Extraction, a new game from the Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six franchise, and it's fair to say that a lot of people are pissed for various reasons, and this is something I would like to talk about. Damn right. So, Extraction is this co-op game involving 3 players and somewhat set in the universe of Rainbow Six Siege, but while all those different military corps were busy throwing drones at each other, a big rock full of alien monsters dropped from the sky and changed everything. Whoa, well that sucks. Did they have to stop fighting then? That's right, they all put their differences aside and they united to generate this plot worth of those direct-to-DVD movies you sometimes get from Hollywood. Anyway, in Extraction, players use their abilities and weapons to progress quietly and in a very tactical way through different levels, collecting information, samples and whatnot, fighting big monsters, blah blah blah. It doesn't take more than 5 minutes to understand the core gameplay loop of the game, to be honest. You can watch the gameplay trailer reveal, but honestly it's so scripted that you will probably realize you will most likely never play like what you've seen in the trailer. They made the game look so good and feel so tactical and strategic and team-oriented and whatnot, but I bet you their QA department has already found tons of ways to speedrun the shit out of this game and to farm levels as quickly as possible. Right. But that's not really a reason to be that mad about the game, right? Yeah, you're right. I mean, I really don't mind those games, and I don't think we should be disrespectful. I think we should all respect the developers' creative freedom and respect the games they want to make, and never be too harsh about something without having played the game in the first place. So, why are you making this video then? Right, so it's a bit of a special video for me because I usually don't like making content to complain about something. But here I had to. This project just has too many red flags to stay silent and just move on without having the urge to criticize the project a little bit more. Let's start with what Extraction looks and feels like to people who already have Rainbow Six Siege. It feels extremely inspired by the Outbreak mod from 2018, which basically was a temporary PvE co-op mod / event in which players were fighting hordes of zombies, progressing through maps and surviving all together. In a way very similar to Left 4 Dead or the upcoming Back 4 Blood. And so that was part of a big update that Ubisoft released for Rainbow Six Siege a couple of years ago as part of their mini operations and so on. Now fast forward to 2021, Ubisoft announces Extraction, a new game, PvE co-op focused in which players team up to fight hordes of aliens while progressing through maps and surviving all together until they have to extract. Sounds familiar? Yeah, sounds pretty much the same to me as well. Yeah, and that's fine. If Ubisoft wants to make a game like this, I'm all for it. The market needs more good co-op games anyway, especially first-person shooter co-op games. So, what the f*** are you complaining about? Right, so what's the problem? Well, this game is not a free mod that you get for a game you already have. It's not a standalone either that you get for 30 quids, although it clearly reuses a lot of features and gameplay designs from Rainbow Six Siege. It's a $60 minimum product for a standard version. It's a $60 game for a gameplay experience that is not that original, especially with the arrival of Back 4 Blood in the near future, which is being developed by a studio that has a lot more experience in this kind of games. It's borderline what we would call a reskin in this industry. There has obviously been some work done to adapt the gameplay to the plot, but the look and feel and the core experience really just feels like you're going to be playing Rainbow Six Siege. Only you will be fighting AI, aliens and whatnot. And you know what personally scares me the most? Nah, nobody cares. Nah, I'm just kidding. Tell us anyway, we are listening to you. It's that I fear this is going to be a fail from a commercial point of view because of how the game looks and feel, and it just feels like rushed and put together only to make money. And the last time I felt like this, it was when I was watching the gameplay of this Marvel game from Square Enix. Yeah, right, okay, but the games are usually around the price though. Well, to be honest, what really annoys me the most is how this project and the company making it look completely disconnected from their audience. The Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six franchise that Ubisoft created almost 20 years ago was based and inspired by the Tom Clancy's books, which mostly focused on Cold War and modern times context and situations. And even if sometimes there were a few references to science fiction-ish elements like technologies used by agencies and whatnot, it was not about fighting zombies and aliens and stuff like that. Both the plot and the gameplay of Extraction just feel like Ubisoft is completely disconnected from their core and long-term Rainbow Six audience who wants a good, slow-paced, authentic tactical shooter game with both great PvE and PvP gameplay, because that's how we feel when we read the original Tom Clancy's books. That's the kind of gameplay we would expect when we hear the term Tom Clancy's and Rainbow Six together. And I understand that Rainbow Six Siege might have made the Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six franchise a lot more popular than it was before, but I still think the majority of the people who know the franchise know it because of the original Rainbow Six games, stuff like Raven Shield, Vegas, Splinter Cell, or Ghost Recon. And those people who grew up with those games haven't had a proper Rainbow Six game that fitted well in the franchise for a long time. Rainbow Six became this super fast-paced, wiggling simulator and toxic behavior training with Rainbow Six Siege. Ghost Recon became this Terminator scenario generator with Breakpoint. Splinter Cell became a lot more casual until it did what Sam Fisher does best. It forever vanished in the shadows and we never heard of it again. And you can see a pattern there. Most of those games became a lot more casual, a lot more accessible to appeal to a wider audience, which, in all fairness, has been one of the best business decisions that Ubisoft did so that they could sell more games. But that was years ago, back when the game industry was barely on the verge of becoming a lot more mainstream, a lot more present in everything we do, a lot more accessible on multiple platforms. And the idea of making a AAA super authentic hardcore tactical shooter game for a niche audience and hoping to see it being a massive commercial success was just, a big gamble back in the days. It was too risky to even consider making such a game.
Hold on, wait a minute, stop it, I'm confused, alright. So, is it a good thing to make casual games or to make Rainbow Six Extraction, or is it a bad thing? I'm confused now.
Well, here's the thing. We know that super hardcore authentic games can be massively successful nowadays, and we know that there is an audience out there for games like this. Take a look at Escape from Tarkov or Arma 3. They are not cheap games, and they are really well-made games, and they are great examples of how gamers are dying to have games that provide old-school, authentic and hardcore tactical experiences. But Rainbow Six Extraction is not going into that direction, and instead gets further away from the original Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six plots and goes deeper into oversimplified gameplay experiences, but at the steep cost of 60 quids. And don't get me wrong, I'm all for studios to be super creative and create whatever games they need or want to make to survive in the business. But the problem is not just about the fact that the game is expensive, it's mostly the fact that they are linking a well-established franchise of super authentic hardcore tactical shooter games to a game that has a gameplay that is nothing like that. So why keep the name of the franchise Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six if it's likely going to damage its name and the brand image, and is less likely going to drive more sales because it doesn't fit with what the audience has been asking for a long time? The audience, the Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six audience, is more likely to monetize well if they are getting an authentic Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six games that is a authentic tactical shooter game, PvE or PvP. Because we know that nowadays there are a lot of people waiting for that. If you look at games like Escape from Tarkov and Arma 3, these games are not cheap. They have tons of DLCs and so on, and they're super realistic, and they sell well even today. For years we have criticized the cinema and TV industry for making very poor adaptation of video games. But when it comes to Rainbow Six games, it's going the other way around. We have movies and TV series that represent the Tom Clancy's books and John Clark's Rainbow Six unit in a much better way than the past couple of Rainbow Six games. And that's pretty much all I have to say about the direction Ubisoft is taking with the Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six franchise and this new Rainbow Six Extraction game. No matter how hard you are going to try to sell it as a tactical co-op shooter game, it just doesn't fit in the Tom Clancy's franchise, and that's a miscalculated marketing decision that might cost you a lot more than you think. Ubisoft, be creative. You can make interesting gameplay, we know that. But also be creative with your franchises and don't be afraid to add a new one to your portfolio, instead of compromising the brand image of your existing one.